again we are here to start a new lesson with you. The name of the lesson is The Star and the Lily. Okay? So let us see what is the lesson about. An old chieftain sat in his wigwam when a crowd of Indian boys and girls suddenly entered and begged him to tell a story. He did so. Actually, student, this is a story, or we can a time of the early Indians. This world was filled with happy people. All the nations were as one. None were in want. Sickness was unknown. The beasts of the field were tame. One unending spring gave no place for winter. Every tree and bush yielded fruit. Flowers carpeted the earth. There were birds, then of more beautiful song and plumage than now. So this is the basics of this story. So let us start. There was a time when this world was filled with happy people, when all the nations were as one. None were in want. Sickness was unknown. The beasts of the field were tame. One unending spring gave no place for winter. Every tree and bush yielded. Yielded means to produce fruits. Flower carpeted the earth. There were birds then of more beautiful song and plague than now. It was such a time that Indians were lone inhabitants of the American wilderness. Instead of amusement in closed room, the sport of the field was there. At night they met on white green beneath the heavenly world, the Hangnung Oka. They watched the star, for they believed them to be the resident of the god who had been taken home by the Great Spirit. So, student, you can see that time the people was completely being happy. All the nations were one. That means no India, no America, no Pakistan. All were one nation. There was no sickness. Everywhere there was a field, and the tree used to bear the fruits, flower. The entire land was been carpeted up with a flower. The unending spring, there was no place for an winter. The birds were more beautiful sang and plumage than now. Okay, and every night the people used to gather together to see what? To see the stars. What they believe? They believe that the resides of God, the stars are the resides of the good who had been taken home by the Great Spirit. One night they saw one star that shone brighter than other. Its location was far in the south, but an examination proved the star to be only a short distance away. A number of warriors were deputed means appointed, to go and see what it was. So, what happened one night? So, I have just explained to you, every night the people is to gather together to see the star. For what? They believe that it is a sign of a goodness who had been taken away from home. that means the people who die, they converted into the star. They are taken away by the great spirit. One night they saw one star that shone brighter than other. Its location was far in the south. But when they tried to examine it, what they found that the star is only to be at a short distance. So what the people did, they appointed the warrior too far up. They appointed a warrior to go and see what it was. They went and on their return said it appeared strange and somewhat like a bird. A committee of wise men were called to inquire into, to ascertain. Ascertain means what? To find out the meaning of the strange phenomena. They feared that it might be a omen. Omen means a bad thing or a bad symbol or bad message or some disaster. Some thought it is a precursor. Precursor means a person or thing that goes before the indicate of good, others of evil. So there was a dispute among the thinking of the ideas of the people. Some were thinking it is a signing of the bad thing, some were thinking it is a sign of the good things. One man had gone by, but the mystery remained unsolved. One moon had gone by, but the mystery remained unsolved. One night, a young warrior had a dream in which a beautiful maiden came to his side and spoke. So, what happened? One moon had gone, that is, a one moon had gone means right from a full moon to new moon. Okay, so one period of time has went away, but the mystery remained the same. So what happened? One night, a young warrior had a dream. What a dream! There was a beautiful maiden, and it came to his side and spoke. Young brave, charmed with the land of my forefather, its flower, its birds, its lake, and its mountain clothed with grain. I have left my sister in yonder world. Yonder world means in your world, to dwell among you. Dwell means to live. Young brave, ask you, wise man, where I can live and see the happy race continually. Ask them what form I shall assume in order to be loved. So, what the maiden has spoke to the young brave man? The maiden has said that she has left her sister because this land, these flowers, this bird, this mountain, everything belongs to her forefather, and she has left her sister in this world to live with them. Now she wants to stay there. So where she could live? The young man awoke. Once stepping out, he saw the star blazing in its place. At early dawn, the chief carrier means to whom the public, or we can say, make a public announcement. The person who make a public announcement was sent to call every warrior to the council. So at early dawn, that is at the early morning, what the chief did? He sent a warrior or a carrier. That means to announce publicly that every warrior has to be come. There will be a council has to be lodged. When they met, the young warrior related his dream. They concluded that the star had fallen in love with mankind and that it wanted to dwell with them. So what the conclusion they have taken out with the dream? That the star has fallen in love with a mankind and the star wants to live with them. The next night, 5 tall, noble-looking braves were sent to welcome the stranger to the earth. They went and presented to it a pipe of peace filled with herbs, and were rejoiced that it took it from them. As they returned to the village, the star followed them. Again, it came to the young man in a dream and desired to know where it should live. Place were named on the top of a giant tree or in a flower. At length, it was told to choose a place itself. So, at the next night, the 5 tall, noble, handsome young men were sent to the stranger so that to welcome the stranger to the earth. So, what they had taken with them? They had taken a pipe of peace to present to the stranger, which was filled with herbs. Now, as they were returning to the village, the star was also following them. Now, again it came, the star came into the young man's dream. And what she desired? Desired to know where it should live. So, the places were been given, the name of the places were been given to the star where she can dwell. That is on the top of the giant tree or in a flower. At length it was told to choose a place to by itself. At first it dwelt in the white rose of the mountain, but it was so buried that it could not be seen. It went to the prairie. Prairie means a wide area of flat land without trees. But it feared the hoof of the buffalo. In the next south, the rocky cliffs, but there it was so high that the children whom it loved most could not see it. So, first where the star dwelt? It dwelt in the wide rose of the mountain. But it was so buried, it went inside so buried that could not be seen. Then where it dwelt into the piece of land where there was no tree. So, it was a fear, the hoop of buffalo, that means a group of buffalo can hurt it. Next, it has selected the rock cliff, but it was so high, the children who love it will be not able to see it. I know where I shall live, it said, where I can see the gliding cannon of the race. I most admire children. Yes, they shall be my playmates, and I will kiss their slumber. Slumber means ages or in a sleep by the side of cool lakes. She alighted on the water. The next morning, thousands of white flowers were seen on the surface of the lakes, and the Indians gave them this name, Wabigani, that is a white flower. This star had lived in the southern skies. Her brethren can be seen far off in the cold north. Whistles her sister watch her in the east and west. Children, when you see the lily on the water, pray that it may be happy on earth as its two sisters, the morning and evening star, are happy in heaven. So, students, you might have understood the lesson that a star has converted into a white flower, that is in a form of a lilies. Okay? So, you might have understood the lesson very well. Now it is time for the grammar. So today I am going to explain you the main and the subordinate clauses. Okay. Words are the smallest unit of meaning. Phrases are group of words that convey meaning but not the complete meaning. For example, the brown dog. Clauses are group of words that contain a subject and a verb. For example, the brown dog jumped over the wall. A clauses can be of two types, main clause and subordinate clause. Now what is a main clause? A main clause is a clause that contains a subject and a verb. Main clause make complete sense on their own. Read this sentence from the text. They believe the star to be residence of the god. This has a subject, they, and a verb, believed, and make complete sense on its own. This is also known as a simple sentence. A subordinate clause contains a subject and a verb, but it needs to be joined to a main clause because it cannot make sense on its own. Read this word from the text. Who had been taken home by the Great Spirit. This clause has a subject, who, and a verb, taken, but it does not make complete sense. When we join it to a main clause, it becomes meaningful. Now here is a sentence, student. They believe the star to be the residence of the good who had been taken home by the Great Spirit. Now this part is a main clause, and who had been taken home by the Great Spirit is a subordinate clause. Okay, the subordinate clause has a subject and the verb. Now, underline the main clause and circle the subordinate clause. After he come home, my father will take me shopping. So, what is the main clause here, student? The main clause is after he come homes, okay? Because the main clause consists the subject and verb. So, here is the, what is the subject here? He, and verb is come. My father will take me shopping. So, that is a subordinate clause. So, without a subordinate clause, the main clause cannot make, without a subordinate clause, we can say sometimes the subordinate clause are joined to the main clause to make a complete sense. I wonder whether the homework was necessary. So, I wonder is a main clause, whether the homework was necessary is a subordinate clause. They will come home before they go to the railway station. So, they will come home is a main clause, before they go to the railway station is a subordinate clause. I went to watch the movie that had broken all box office record. So, I went to watch the movie is a main clause. That had broken all the box record is a subordinate clause. I do not understand what he say. I do not understand is a main clause. What he say is a subordinate clause. The boy who is riding the bicycle is my cousin. The boy is a main clause. Who is riding the bicycle is my cousin is a subordinate clause. You must learn to walk before you can run. You must learn to walk is a main clause. Before you can run is a subordinate clause. As I was coming down the mountain, it is a subordinate clause. I saw a red panda cube. Listen to what I am saying. Listen is a main clause. To what I am saying is a subordinate clause. I was looking for my umbrella, because it was raining cats and dog. So I was looking for my umbrella is a main clause. Because it was raining cats and dog, it is a subordinate clause. So now students, we are going to see a compound noun. A compound noun is a noun that is made up of two or more words. These are very common and people may make new combination all the time. Read this sentence from the text. They concluded that the star had fallen in love with mankind and that it wanted to dwell with them. The highlighted word is made of two nouns, man and kind. Put together, they make a new word. Various parts of speech combine together to form compound noun. Different combination, noun plus noun. Here you can see, bus, stop. Adjective plus noun, soft, where. Soft is an adjective. Verb plus noun, break, fast. Noun plus verb, hair, cut. Hair is a noun and cut is a verb. Preposition plus noun, under. Under is a preposition. Water, under water. Noun plus preposition, hanger on. Adjective plus verb. What is the adjective? Public, and verb is a speaking. Preposition plus verb, that is a out plus come, that is the outcome. Okay children? So compound nouns are sometimes written as one word like bedroom connected with the hyphens, hanger on. Here is a hyphens. Written as two separated words, full stop. Now, underline the compound noun in this sentence. The plane landed in the airfield. So, what is the compound noun? Airfield. The artist painted the backdrop in beautiful colors. Backdrop. I want to see the postmaster. What is the compound noun? Postmaster. The swimming pool is 9 feet deep. What is the compound noun? Swimming pool. Please give my jacket for dry cleaning. What is the compound noun? Dry cleaning. Dry cleaning. My compound noun for this phrase. A room for sleeping is a bedroom. I brush my teeth using a toothbrush. Moon that is full is a full moon. A machine used for washing clothes is a washing machine. To go to a doctor to check one's health is to go for a check-up. So student, you might have understood the lesson and also the grammar. So we will meet on a next session with a new lesson. Just all for the day.